So the comments on this one are going to be very interesting. But yeah, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to discuss my top 10 hot takes for Digimon. Mostly to do with the video games. There's going to be a couple of other little bits in there, but it's mostly to do with the video games. I probably will cover more stuff like this and do more on like the anime and some other side of Digimon. If you are interested, let me know. But yeah, here we go. Coming out the gate swinging, I'm going to say Cyber Suit is overrated. Oh, don't crucify me yet, please. In terms of like a JRPG, it's extremely basic. There's no overworld to explore, which really kind of kills me in terms of Digimon. I love the exploration. The stuff like Digimon World 1 or any of those world games, even Digimon World 3, the exploration is awesome. I love being able to like see a little bit more of the digital world and kind of like how the Digimon kind of like, I don't know, their ecosystem, how they kind of inhabit that world, what they do and stuff. I kind of it's just a really interesting thing, just because it is a whole other world. Cyberloop didn't actually include any of the digital world until like the very last fight, which really sucks. For the most part, like any other DS game or story game, it's just mazes. Cybersuit, I suppose, it has its advantage that the mazes aren't too complex or annoying, unlike the DS games, but it's still, everything's so samey, and that kind of bothers me a bit, especially when Digimon is known for being so unique in terms of what it does with pretty much everything from each season to each device. Every Digimon is unique. I really was hoping that Cybersuit would kind of have some of that. It just didn't. To go a little bit deeper into that though, is the battle system is just also very generic. It's like any other JRPG really, except it doesn't have the bonus kind of extra cool stuff that they do in battles. Sure, we have the cross system, but I don't like it. It's not that I don't like it, it's more so that it's not that fun. It comes up randomly. I think there's some other like characteristics to your Digimon that can make it pop up a little bit faster or more or whatever. I don't know. But for me, it's just not the most interesting thing that they could have done with those battles, and hopefully going forward to the new story game, they'll actually kind of improve on that. I know they're including the digital world, they have said that alright, but I kind of hope they do a little bit more, just kind of like expand on that world and that universe and their characters and stuff. I feel like I'm gonna be apologizing a lot in this video, so before I give anything is said from my mouth, just assume it's said with sincere apologies. But yeah, the VPet games are the best Digimon games. But yeah, to make that worse, I'm also going to say, as number 3, Digimon World Next Order is the best Digimon game. Don't kill me, please. But basically, my reason for that is that it's just, in terms of mechanics available to you in a Digimon game, this has the most by far. And it's not like it's mechanics there just for having them. They literally like contribute to the game so well in every aspect of it. The one thing that does annoy me is the 2 Digimon thing. Another thing that's kind of like meh, I'll take it, but it's not too big of a deal, is just the exploration of the game. The world doesn't feel so unique in some areas. It feels kind of generic with just the odd thing thrown there just to say, hey, this is the digital world or whatever. But in terms of like the best Digimon game, it's 100% this one. From building your town is just awesome. The amount of stuff you can do with it, from the materials you gather while you're out, there's so much, and the materials you gather while you're out actually go and can be used by the builders to improve buildings in the town and offer more facilities. I have a whole review on this. I'm not going to dive too deep. I have a whole review if you want to check out some of my thoughts on some of the stuff that you can do in that game. But like, in terms of raising, is like there's the Jogra system is there. We've got the, oh man, it gives us like all the stats that we need. The dojo, there's like the cook and fear Digimon. There's so much to do in this game. Honestly, there's so much. And like it says, it's not that it's stuff for the sake of having it. It's stuff that you genuinely will use and have to use to progress and kind of like make the game kind of like work in your favor. But yeah, check out my review on that if you want to kind of like see a little bit more of my thoughts on that game. And if you've been playing it, I hope you're enjoying it. If you haven't, pick it up, please. So coming up at number 4, I'm going to talk about the DS games. I'm just going to say Digimon World Championship is the best DS game. I'm sorry. You can probably tell now, I love the VPet stuff. I mean, I've got a shit ton of them on my shelf behind me. I got more in the other room. I mean, like, I love the VPet stuff that Digimon does. Some of the stuff that they do is just awesome. But to have that incorporated into a video game, for me, is just amazing. I know a lot of people kind of compare this to Pokemon Ranger in terms of how you catch Digimon with the drawing the circles and shit, which, yeah, it does ruin your DS. So it's kind of a pain, but yeah, it's addictive. I love it. I love this game. The sprite works a little bit meh, but it's the whole thing of like having like the separate cages or whatever, having your Digimon in there, being able to explore, to look for Digimon even around the digital world. Battles, it brings the whole VPet stuff of your Digimon is kind of like, it'll battle depending on how you train it, like in the original VPets and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite DS games ever, hands down. Not to say that I don't like the other ones, by the way. It's not that I don't like the other DS games. In fact, I enjoy every Digimon game, but if it comes down to I'm getting lost on a desert island and I have to pick some games, I'm gonna be dropping a lot of Digimon games. I'm gonna be dropping a lot, but I'll be picking up these few. But yeah, the Championship would be one of them. Next is Digimon World. It's best played blind. Here's my opinion and thoughts on that. I know a lot of people, when they jump into World, they're like confused, like, what the fuck is this? What am I doing?
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
I'm sorry, you are playing the game wrong. Don't get a guide, please, because the idea of these games is your exploration. You're going to learn from the mistakes that you make with your Digimon. You're going to get a couple of shits on the way. You're going to get a Sukumon, you're going to get a Numamon, but this is all part of the learning curve. And in fact, if you get a Numamon, it's a handy way to get a nice ultimate, which is going to pass on some better stats down to your next Digimon. But yeah, besides the point, play it without a guide. Just for the love of God, just explore the game, have fun with it. That's the idea of Digimon World. As you can even see, the story in the World games is not that complex. It's not something you really need to dive into. It's just all about your exploration, so just have a fun time exploring Digital World, that's it. Atmon or Digimon. So coming up on number 7 now, AllStar Rumble is a good game. I know a lot of people hate it in terms of like the Digimon fighting games, like stuff like Rumble, Rumble Arena 2. We've also got the Battle Spirit games and the GBA. But yeah, I do enjoy AllStar Rumble. Where would I rank it? I don't know. Maybe I'll have to do a video kind of like ranking my favorite kind of like fighting Digimon games. That actually might be a bit of fun. But as far as like a bad game, it's not a bad game. It definitely has some flaws, but I don't think they're flaws in terms of gameplay. As far as like bugs and stuff, I haven't really found any. Yes, it gets very difficult later on in the game, that's one thing, but I feel like you should be learning with a fighting game how to kind of like get through the difficulties and kind of like be a little bit more strategic in how you play. So I think that's kind of one thing. The Digimon card thing does kind of annoy me, and you don't know when Digimon cards are going to pop up to give you your power up. They're kind of random, but I do like that system. I think it's kind of cool. Digivolution stuff, having alternate Digivolutions, all this stuff is amazing. A world that you can kind of like explore as a Digimon, and each Digimon has their own story, meaning that you will be wanting to go back and kind of like replay the game a little bit. My one thing I will say is the game needed online play. I feel like if this game had online play, it would actually go down as one of the best Rumble games. I feel like that's what held it back the most. Also, it was produced by Habu, so arguably Habu made a flop, maybe. I haven't heard of this guy actually put out a flop of a video game, but yeah, I know if there was a game that was gonna be a flop, it would be argued that it could be that one. So yeah, but yeah, I will say for myself, I really enjoyed that game. I love it. It was the first Digimon that came back over here. I mean, like, yeah, there's a lot to say about it that's actually genuinely like positive. I might do a video on it coming up, but yeah. Okay, I know I'm gonna probably piss off Digital Hazard, I'm sorry, but Digimon World 2 is the least interesting Digimon game. I think this is a valid point.
Are you sure about that?
Listen, hear me out, okay? So, Digimon World 2, as far as its world, it's not the best. There's nothing to explore here. It's all just dungeons. The turn-based combat is just so damn slow. The evolution system is grindy as fuck. I do love the Beetle. The Beetle is awesome. That's probably the best thing that I can say about this game is I love the Beetle. I love the chibi models. I love the amount of Digimon that are available in this game. The armor Digivolution, all of it. I love all this stuff, okay? But goddamn is the game so fucking uninteresting to play through. I like giving Digimon different toys or whatever to kind of like recruit them. The whole recruiting system in it is kind of fun. I would argue that I kind of like it a little bit better than the scan system that we got later on in other Digimon games, but I think this is probably the most interesting one. But it can get in the way when you want to go to a certain dungeon. You're like, shit, I forgot to bring my toy plane. In terms of like even walking around, I would have liked that like when you're not in a dungeon, they could have put a little bit more effort into like the rest of the game was you're exploring, kind of like one that's not on a grid. I don't like the way that you walk on a grid. The way your guy walks, and it's just so dumb. the speed he walks, with kind of like regards to like how the sound of his steps going, they just don't seem to fit for me somehow. I don't understand it. The whole like you can only move left, right, or whatever. I feel like this is where they should have had it the most open. But yeah, one thing that really annoys me is just like how samey everything is. All the dungeons look the same. There's a few little different mechanics that are thrown in there to make it seem different, but it's like they're all the same. They're all the same. As far as like the kind of like when you're in the world, whatever, talking to different characters in different areas, or whatever, all these areas look the exact same to me as well. I don't really get the whole thing with this game. I feel like it was obviously made on like a short amount of time that they had or something. That's what it feels like to me. Granted, we also didn't get this game in Europe, so I've got the least amount of time played with this. I have the least amount of time invested into this game. This is not to say I hate it, by the way. I do like this game, but these are just some major flaws to me that I just don't like. Granted, I will say mystery dungeon games are never really that kind of like varied, I suppose, in terms of their environments and stuff, but I feel like with Digimon, again, this game is about exploration. You took all exploration out of this entire franchise when you made Digimon World 2. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna move on. I have another game that people are really gonna hate me for that I'm gonna talk about next. So I'm going to step on some toes here and just gonna say Digimon World 3 is a terrible JRPG. Don't click off the video yet, please. It's not that it's terrible, okay? It sucks. No, it's not bad. I don't hate it. It's a good game. I do actually genuinely enjoy when I sit down and play this game. I will say that. But it's got so much flaws, like more so than a lot of people point out in Digimon World 1, but holy fuck. I think I need to do a full review on this game and say all the stuff I don't like about it. I'm sorry. I'm laying into this one way too much, and I'm sorry. It's because it's my last 2 points are based on this one. I'm sorry. But yeah, the first one was just it's terrible JRPG. The next one is like it's a Pokemon ripoff. We have to come to terms with it. Digimon has ripped off Pokemon, and this is that instance. I'm glad we moved away from it. I'm glad it's left on the PlayStation 1. It's in the past. We've all forgotten about it. We can move along and play these new games. I'm glad that they alternated and kind of like made it into Cyber Sleuth now, which is it's a good game and it's a good one for people to kind of come over and check out. Just don't show them Digimon World 3 or all of our arguments for the last few years will be just null and void. That's it. That's my video. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye. Yeah, I will say this video was a lot of fun to make. I had a lot of fun kind of like writing down ideas of like some stuff that I really disliked about Digimon video games. It was a lot of fun kind of like going back, kind of like revisiting some of these games, kind of like try and remember them for one, like playing them and stuff, and just kind of seeing some of the stuff that I found like to be major flaws in these games. But yeah, I tell you what, subscribe channel, like all that good shit. Check out the videos on screen, or don't. I'll see you again. Bye bye.